This month, Aries, it's time to shift some stuff in your life. And oftentimes it is easier to start from the inside out. Hi, Aries, and welcome to Zero's Journey. I'm Madeline, if you haven't been here before. And here on Zero's Journey, we use a compass of courage, curiosity, compassion, and creativity to get where we're trying to go by being right exactly where the fuck we are. So we are going to get into a tarot reading for you for the month of February, but we got to kick off with your North Star from Spirit, the idea or archetype you can turn to whenever you don't know what to do next, wondering how to proceed. Come back to movement. And specifically, Aries, Spirit is talking about embodiment, movement as a daily practice. This can look like anything. Some people have a movement practice. If you do, great. Step into it very consciously. You're on the right path. If you don't, this is not the place to blame, shame, judge yourself. We don't do that here. Doing a movement practice isn't about being perfect. It's not about knowing exactly what you need to do and making it beautiful and blah, blah, blah. Having a movement practice can be when I finish getting ready in the morning, I put on my favorite song and I dance my ass off to get my energy up, to shake off anything from, the night before, to get into my day. Or a movement practice can look like I stretch when I get up in the morning or right before bed, or both, even better, to get my body flexible, supple, prepared for everything that's going to come in. So Spirit was talking to me very specifically when I looked at this card about certain thoughts that you're having and patterned thoughts, habitual thoughts, which we all have, right? And habitual is the same as unconscious, we could say. And operating by habitual or unconscious patterns doesn't always serve us very well because we're not always aware of what we're doing. So you can have a certain thought and that can trigger a feeling, and that can trigger an action, and that follows up and reinforces the original thought. Know what I'm saying? So, Spirit gave me this very funny, awesome vision of you, Aries, choosing a thought, or choosing like a pattern of thoughts, a flavor of thoughts, we could say, and being like, I'm just going to keep my eye on this. So maybe you have a pattern of comparing yourself to others, let's just say, or, whatever. We'll just say that. Spirit doesn't want to go too deep. We'll get into your reading in a second. If you have a pattern of comparing yourself to others, you might say, okay, I really want to unravel that. I want to weave something different. So I'm going to be aware of every time I start to compare myself to others, and I'm going to create a little movement that I do every time I notice that I'm comparing myself to others. Maybe it looks like, something to snap you out and into your body. Listen, I am living proof that it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't have to look cute, doesn't have to look pretty, doesn't have to look aesthetic for the gram. The point is for you to feel yourself, to stay with yourself, and to choose yourself. That's what Spirit is saying. Okay. Beautiful way to start. Now let's get into some tarot cards. Let's get into, wow. This flew out of the deck immediately, Aries. King of Cups, King of Emotions. Just for the record, I am shuffling it back in. But mastery of one's emotions and finding equilibrium no matter what's going on, that's kind of the wheelhouse of the King of Cups. So that movement card plus the King of Cups is like you can move through anything when you have your own equilibrium. When your equilibrium is not dictated by what's happening around you, but by what you choose to center yourself in, anchor yourself in. And the truth is, we're doing that all the time. We're usually just not choosing. We're living in our own anxiety bubble or whatever, no matter what's going on out here. But maybe I don't want to live in an anxiety bubble. Maybe I want to live in a self-compassion bubble, or confident in myself bubble, or whatever. Okay, so Spirit, want to talk to Aries in the month of February. What do they need to know for their highest good? Aries Sun, Aries Moon, Aries Rising, and Aries Dominant people, Spirit. What do they need to know for their highest good in the month of February? And what are they surrounded by? What themes or archetypes or energies are operating in their life right now? What does it serve them to be aware of in this moment, in the present, as well as in the past. What influences or energies do you want to make them aware of for their highest good? Spirit, we are always seeking the greatest peace, joy, abundance, love for the highest good of Aries. What do they need to know in the month of February? What does it serve them to pursue, to shift, to embrace, to avoid in the month of February? All right. Let's see. Beautiful movement. First card up, 8 of Wands. If you just Googled 8 of Wands, Aries, one of the top words you would see is movement. Oh my God, all this activity, things are shifting. 3, 4 cards we have so far. 8 of Wands, 7 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands. Fire, 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 wands, 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 Knight of Wands in your future. Wow. Okay. Balance. You are sensing that you are overburdened. The bandwidth is all taken up. It's a lot. It's a lot that you're dealing with right now. And you got a good attitude about it. This isn't doom and gloom, but it's too much, Aries. It's taking you out of what Spirit is saying is like your natural state. And I see good things. Let's talk about it. Come to the center of your reading. We're doing a Celtic Cross. So this 7 of Wands is crossing your 8 of Wands. What's preventing your forward motion? Or not preventing, but slowing, forcing you to pull over every few feet and check and make sure you're still on track, or everybody's still good with where you are on the track. And that's not, as Spirit was saying, it's like, that's not your zone of genius. That's not Aries' most natural and awesome state to be in. Who are you having to fight to move in the way that you want to? Do you really need to fight them? Spirit is just gently asking that question. Again, no blame, no shame, no judgment. It's like, is this a fight that you're engaging in because it's a maybe easier or more habitual or more sort of status quo fight versus I'm going to fight for myself, or I'm going to fight to move in the direction that I want to fight? You know what I mean? Like, what I mean is, what Spirit is showing me is like getting caught up in like, I'm fighting with my partner. How can I possibly move forward on these big important things I have to do when I'm having these fights with my partner? Or how can I possibly do what it is I want to do when work is taking up all of my time, or whatever? And Spirit is asking you to just be aware of how you engage in any conflicts in your life. 7 of Wands is about standing up for yourself, defending your space. It feels necessary because, like I said, you're overburdened, overtaxed, crowning your reading. 10 of Wands below, sitting in the position of kind of what's going on inside of you and how that's manifesting. Now, 9 of Wands and 10 of Wands aren't, negative cards per se, but they're heavy. It's like it's too much fire. Like I said, 7 of Wands, 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands, that's too crazy and too straightforward of a numerical progress to be an accident. No tarot reading is an accident. And I have shuffled this particular deck, God knows, thousands of times. There's no way that 7, 8, 9, 10, we're all sitting in a row. But they're sitting in a row for you, is what Spirit is saying. If you get caught up with other people's fights, other people's opinions, other people's ways of doing things, sitting in your past, traditions, organization, hierarchy. Spirit's talking about a couple different things here. I'm hearing relational hierarchy. Now, of course, Aries, these are general readings, as you know. So if you ever want to go deeper and get personal, you can book a reading in the box below. But I say that to say I'm getting a few different messages, and if something doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That's probably for some other Aries listening. But I'm hearing the phrase relationship hierarchy. And so there's a little bit of checking in with, am I putting my, let's just say, my partner above my friends? Or am I valuing certain types of relationships over others and therefore missing out on things? Am I perhaps in like an open or ethically non-monogamous relationship, and this like layers of what's okay, what's not okay, what's comfortable, what the rules are? It feels like no matter where you are, Aries, the rules of how you get to live your life, move through your life, are coming up for review. And some of them, frankly, it doesn't seem like you need to carry anymore. For a couple different reasons I say this. Sitting in the energy around you. 9 of Swords. Are you managing yourself in such a way to manage someone else's anxiety or depression or fear or insecurity? All things indicated by the 9 of Swords. So feels like someone or something around you feels like a nightmare. That's just the name of the card. Again, no blame, no shame, no judgment. It feels like a nightmare that you can't wake up from, is what Spirit is saying. And the only way to wake up from it is to fucking detach from it. It's causing imbalance. And I'm hearing a couple different things. Again, Aries, general readings. If something resonates with you, please take it and do something about it. Because the other thing I'm hearing about is like hormonal imbalance. Nothing to be afraid of. It's like I could be eating in a way that allows my gut to process bad bacteria better. That type of thing is what I'm hearing. So for example, if you have a sugar addiction, like, or you know you don't eat very many vegetables or colorful foods, it's time to be aware of that. Where you find yourself. Okay, reminder, the past, Hierophant, other people's organizational structures, their ways of doing things. There's nothing wrong necessarily by default with established systems, but when things have been established for a very long time, there tend to be parts of them that we don't question. And that is something that Spirit is asking you to do this month. Do I want to do things the same way my family did? Do I want to do things the way my religion dictates? What is dictating my behavior? What altar am I worshiping at? So the past compared to where you find yourself. Similar imagery, but the Hierophant here is dictating. The Hierophant here kind of gatekeeps. Again, that can be helpful, that can be hurtful. It can be helpful here and during influence depending on how you interact with it and how it interacts with you. Some teachers and mentors and people that teach us things we couldn't have known without them, which are things represented by the Hierophant, are wonderful. You know, like, and I'm hearing that some of you have great teachers, great healers, people like that. But to me, I'll get personal for a second, one sign of a great leader or a great teacher is one who encourages you to find your own understanding, your own meaning, your own efficacy, and is not asking you to hand them your sovereignty in exchange for awesome information or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So where you find yourself, again, similar but different. I know what is balance for me. And if I don't know what is balance for me, then I need to inquire. And perhaps, like Spirit said in the beginning, it's easier to start from the inside out. Actually noticing that when this person says this or that, I get like annoyed or rankled or whatever, and be like, oh, okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm annoyed with this person? Or is it actually like somebody yesterday asked me for 9 other things, so now I feel annoyed? You know what I'm saying? Present, centered, aware, making conscious choices to bring things into balance. You know what? No. Your lack of planning is not my emergency. I can't take on another thing. There's no way I possibly could. Please go ahead and figure that out for yourself. Or, no, I don't think that that is a fair way for me to have to live and operate just because you have this issue that you have. Perhaps you and I could help you deal with your issue so that I can live the way that I need to live, or etc. I say that because Justice is the Libra card. And it implies the relationship, the back and forth, the harmony. You know, there is room for compromise if both people are willing to compromise. There isn't room for compromise if one of you is willing to compromise and the other isn't. Then it's like, by definition, no, I'm sorry. And The truth is that some of you may find that when you claim what you need, claim your space, claim what's not your fucking space, and drop a couple wands on the floor and say, those are yours, thank you, there are going to be consequences, right? Actions have consequences, and choosing to divest from things that aren't yours to carry does involve shutting doors. The key to your reading: death is nothing to be afraid of. Death is, I mean, listen, be afraid if you want to. That's also okay and normal. It's perfectly normal to be afraid of change, of closing a door, of leaving something behind or letting it die, right? Leaving a phase of life. You, in this case, what you or spirit is offering to help you let die is carrying everything all on your own and not being able to see an end in the path because you're so overwhelmed and overburdened. I say that it looks like a good thing and like you'll be making good decisions and you will be willing to end things that are hindering your forward movement and motion, because sitting in your future, a very Aries card, Knight of Wands, shift, making a change, going off in pursuit of your passion. And again, center of your reading, it's what you're craving. It's the energy that you're in right now. So many possibilities, so much activity, communication, possibility, like being invited places, feeling the urge to create, feeling the urge to share and do and be. Your season is around the corner, Aries. You have some transformation, some decomposing, some death to do in the month of February as we cruise out of Aquarius then into Pisces, which is the season right before you. That's the time to like really, really divest, make room, because then when we get to Aries season, you have a clean slate and a beautiful platform to start from. So Spirit is letting you know way ahead of time. Start that cleanup process. Clean up, clean out anything that feels too heavy, anything that feels burdensome and out of sync, out of natural balance. Divest, release, let go, decompose. You can trust your intuition. Get quiet with yourself. Listen to the voice inside. When Spirit is talking about being present with yourself and that little exercise of like when you feel yourself going into a certain thought, go into a certain motion to train yourself to embody that shit and be like, is this for real or no? Oh wait, no. That kind of thing. You have beautiful places to go. You just need to drop some baggage that isn't yours so that the trip is more fun and more light and more joyful. How's that hitting you, Aries? Let me know, please. Questions, comments, stories. I love to hear them and I deeply appreciate the engagement. It really helps the channel. On that note, I mean, subscribe if you vibe. Send to a friend. And if you want to get a reading, or if you'd like to support the channel or just hang out and chat, all the ways to do that are in the description box below. I really deeply appreciate your time, Aries. I hope the time that you spent here pays for itself many, many times over. Have a beautiful month, and if I don't see you in another video before then, I hope I will see you in your March reading. Bye, Aries.